Hey, Merry Christmas, gear fans. It's December 30th, 2024. Hopefully, I'll get this uploaded tonight, if not tomorrow. This is just a little ramble on my continued journey, my continued muddle confusion on my path down hybrid or not, or Reaper or not. I've got the Tascam Model 24 back. I have a Zoom Live Track L20 on loan to a friend at one band's house. Another band's house, I've got the Scarlett i20, 18 i20. So all I have here is an Apollo 2 channel twin on the Tascam Model 24. And I've been working on this album, since 2018, right? I don't love all the songs, but for me, good or bad, crappy or okay, or sometimes I'll pull out a gem. Sometimes I'll pull out a song that I'm like, you know what, that's pretty good. And friends of mine will say that's pretty good, and musicians I respect will say that's pretty good. And then sometimes I'll write a song that's just not good, and I can't crumple the piece of paper up and put it in the trash. I can't, and I should. So this album's been a real slog since 2018, but I've got I've got 11 songs I'm working on, and then I figure I'll write 12 or 13. One thing about me is I can write songs quickly. I'm never out of ideas. They may be crappy, they may be bad songs, but I got 1,000 of them. Okay, so if you're ever looking for a bad song, I can pull one out of you-know-where pretty quick. So I have no writer's block. I just don't. It's quantity over quality for sure. So this album's been a real slog, and I've since 2018, so maybe 7 years, something like that. And now here I am having my classic battle in my head. Do I mix it in Reaper, or do I mix it on the Tascam Model 24? So I have this fantasy of having everything on these SD cards like tape. Like I go, I tell my great grandkids as I slide this off the shelf, and I'm like, yeah, this is how I made all them hits, that are on Spotify. You know how I got 200 people listen to them over 10 years, which is about what I get. It's right here. This is it. This is this used to be 1/4-inch tape, and now it's an SD card. This is the tape right here. It's legendary. You're witnessing an artifact. Like, this is like Frank Zappa's tape vault, right? And so why do I want that? Why do I want to pull this off the shelf, put it in this machine, and be how it is? Because I think that's how it used to be back in the day. Speaking of Frank Zappa's tape vault, you could go to his shelf and pull a 1/4-inch or whatever tape format he was using, and put it in the reels and play it, and you're going to get 8 or 16 tracks of what was intended. Okay, so that's my fantasy, is to have that in this machine, right? 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, be able to slide that off the shelf, take the cartridge out, put it in, and go, let's listen to that song. Put the faders up, and that's how it was intended. And I tracked it 100% right here, and I mixed it almost entirely right here. Sometimes I cheated and I went into the Reaper and I used my UAD plugins and my Waves plugins. But for the most part, I did it right here, old school. Even though the year's 2024, I didn't use a computer per se. Sure, this is a computer. So this is this fantasy that I have. This back and forth in my mind. So Mike over at I Love Recording, he does perfectly good work that way. He just has the Tascam Model 24. He has the Porta Studio. I'm not sure if he's the 24 or the 32. And then he has some other trackers as well. But he's mostly, as far as I can tell, doing his work in a tracker and does not boot up a computer. Okay? And I've talked to many of you guys, tons of you guys, you're the same way. You're like, you know, I can use a computer. I'm good on computers. I don't want to use a computer in my music. And I'm the same. That's what I'm doing. So I should say that's what I would like to do. Today's video is brought to you by Apple Juice. It's what's good for you on YouTube. So then I start to do it, you know. I'm like, okay, here we go. It's the year 2024. Let's start mixing. Well, let's start mixing. So we got this song. It's got a little bass hook at the beginning. It's got some drums. Probably can't see what the heck I'm doing. Let me try to raise this camera up a little bit more. Crappy tripod. Let's just see. Let's just hear this song really quick. Where's my drums? My drums are on track 13, 14, 15, 16. But it's scary. It's scary. I don't have my plugins. I don't. I'm back in the board. I'm trying to be old school. I don't got my plugins. I'm just in the board. I got, if I move the Mac keyboard, I got this EQ right here. That's the blue. And then, you know, I could send out boards. So you know what? It's like, dude, you wanted to be old school. You're old school. You know, deal with it. You want a compressor right now? You got to pipe out to the warm over there. And that's only a mono. You want stereo compressor right now? Well, I don't have a stereo compressor right now. So I'd have to pipe it into the Apollo through Reaper, through a plugin, like an 1176 or something, whatever stereo plugin or compressor, and bring it back. So it's like, and this is me talking to myself. It's like, you wanted old school. You're old school, man. You wanted this. Here you are. But I feel so like it's a lot of work. If that sounds good at all, it's because I mixed it in Reaper and put it in the Tascam. Okay. So, and then I was like, I gotta have a Tascam Model 24 because I gotta be portable. Well, my Zoom Live Track L20 that I brought to a friend's house today, that's portable. I already have a portable rig. I've just lent it out. So the other thing about the Tascam Model 24 too is, I've said it before, like the metering sucks so bad. So like if I'm gonna do some metering, let me get to 4 minutes here. 4 minutes is, oh shit, I just hit record. Stop. Too much apple juice. All right, play. So it's playing. I'll just throw the drums up, and I'll just do the metering here. Like that's the metering. I don't even know if the camera can see that. There's those drums there. I got the faders down. That's 13, 14, 15, 16. I know the cameras can't see it very well. But at least Reaper, you get some awesome metering. I actually have, I guess I should have explained what I'm doing here. I actually have, so I wanted my bus processing, which the Tascam Model 24 does not do. So I'm actually piping the Tascam Model 24 out to the Apollo, and the Apollo goes into Reaper, into a stereo track here. See if I can point at it. And on that, I've got what I use, this is just preference, personal preference, but I use the Precision Busmaster on every track mix down, and I use the Ampegs tape on every mix down. Now, all this screwing around that I've done here, right, is just so that I can feel old school and frickin' mix through the Tascam Model 24. Or I could have just been in Reaper. Like, we're only talking, how many tracks are we talking here? Not that it's a track problem, but I got a fuzz bass, a naked bass, or like a DI bass. I got a guitar, I got vocal 1, vocal 2, vocal 1, vocal 2 again. It's actually vocal 1, vocal 2, vocal 3, vocal 4. Down in 13 and 14, I got my drums. 15 and 16, I got a smashed compression version of the drums. So what are we talking here? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tracks. Not that track count's a problem in Reaper. Reaper can have 256 tracks. But, so this is me bending over backwards, tying myself in a pretzel, trying to keep the tracks on the memory card so that 30 years from now I can pull the card off the shelf and stick it in and go, look at this, grandkids. It doesn't make any sense, or does it? But what I'm trying to avoid is having to turn the damn Mac on, which I had to turn it on anyway to use the bus mastering processing, and open a session that's all scrambled. Because I opened another scrambled session today, okay, in Reaper. And you guys will go, you don't know what you're doing, you didn't mic properly, you don't brush your teeth, you don't cut your toenails. And I'll tell you, I know Reaper better than frickin' 95% of you guys, okay? I was using Reaper before most of you were born. And I'm just talking to the guys that are making them comments, right? They're like, well, you didn't learn it. Like, come on. Learn it. Any idiot can crack the manual and learn it. The manual's available online. Like, that is low hanging fruit. That is, you're talking like a 10-year-old, You didn't learn your Reaper very well. Guys, I had Reaper dialed in tight back in the day, like the year 2008. And it's only a Google away or a manual crack away. Everyone knows that. So when you go, you didn't learn Reaper, it's like, guys, come on. Everyone's got the manual. Everyone can Google. Everyone can watch a YouTube. It's not that. I can figure out what all this crap does. Right? I used to know. I used to do templates. I used to make frickin' templates and stuff. It's not that. When you guys say, oh, you didn't learn the Reaper, that's the laziest low IQ crap I've ever heard. Okay? It's that I don't want to. I've already been down that road years ago, and I don't want to go back to frickin' making templates and playing computer. But here I am, complaining about old school. Because old school's hard, too. So, what am I complaining about? I'm complaining about, I opened another damn Reaper track again today, and it was frickin' scrambled. It wouldn't play. And it's like this invisible automation crap. And I don't use a lot of automation, so I don't know how I'm getting invisible automation corruption in my sessions. But, so I have to pick my battles. Do I want to be in Reaper? Or do I want to be in this Tascam Model 24? Because like I said, I have this fantasy of being in this Tascam Model 24. I get all the tracks lined up. But here we are, man. You want to mix? Ooh, you better get mixing then. You better get mixing. You want reverb? Well, you're either going to use what's in the engine, or you're going to have to pump it through a lexicon over here. Right? So, when I'm not in front of this desk, I'm pretty confident and pretty brave, and I'm going, no problem. I'm going to do this Frank Zappa style. I'm going to do this Abbey Road style, 1969. It's not going to be a problem. I'll pump out to the outboard and pump it back in and have a limited track count of 12 mono tracks, and, I'll make commitments. I'll be committed. I'll have to commit. It's like Sgt. Pepper was squeezed down into 4 tracks. So I'm pretty brave and confident when I'm not in front of the machine. And then I get set down here, and I'm like, oh boy, we're going to mix. We better start mixing. Here we go. So I'm real brave when I'm not in front of it. And then I get in front of it and I'm like, holy crap. Old school is old school. How much easier would it have been if I left these damn tracks in Reaper with my beautiful set of waves and universal audio and soft tube and all the plugins I have, and mixed them with keyboard and mouse. And I know you guys are split. I know seemingly half of you, or a little less than half of you, are like, old school, be in the mixer, outboard hardware, make commitments, jam it down to limited amount of tracks, bravery, like just do it. Just make those hard decisions. Take your 8 to 10 drum tracks and put them into commit, because that's it. Like you got your kick in, your kick out, your snare top, your snare bottom, your tom 1, tom 2, you got like 10 drum tracks, and you got to bounce them down to 2 stereo or 1 mono. You have to, because you don't have the real estate on this machine, right? That is commitment, man. But that's how it was done, right? Or I can retreat back to reverb and go, well, I can keep all my tracks. I can have kick front, kick back, snare top, snare down, tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, hi-hat, crash 1, crash 2, crash 3. I can have all them. I don't have to commit, right? And I can have freaking Infinite 1176 compressors and 11 LA2As and Fairchilds and gear that I don't even really own, like the plugins that I bought, right? So which is it? So then you go, well, you fool, you could use this Tascam Model 24 as an interface into Reaper. You could. I could just say, well, this is how I get into Reaper, right? Because this thing is truly hybrid. You can have a computer or not have a computer. You can record to the SD. You can record to Reaper. Like there's a lot of options on this thing. Apparently too many because it scrambles my brain. But anyway, so why don't I do that? Why don't I just use this as my 16 ins? Because that's what it is at the top, right? 16 ins. You could argue like stereos, or you could argue that it's 20 or 22 ins. So why don't I do that? Well, because then I am relying on the old Mac, the computer that I'm currently using, and hard drives. And I'm not taking a tape off the shelf 30 years from now and going, oh, this was it. This was the media. It's on some damn hard drive somewhere with 5,000 other sessions, right? Which I could just copy it into a tape box. If the romantic idea of the nostalgia of a tape box is my thing, well, sure, just copy your Reaper session into that DVD box on a thumbstick or right? If that's really what this is all about, is if the fantasy of having a tape box like it's actual tape, just copy the damn thing onto a USB and put it in the tape box, stick it on the shelf. But it's not that simple. It's a matter of I keep opening these damn Reaper sessions from years back. Some of them are from 2005 is probably the oldest one, and they're scrambled up because it's got plugins that don't exist anymore. It's got invisible automation that I never intended for, and so I'm just in hybrid hell. It must be nice for guys like Mike at iLive Recording, who have just already made up their mind that this is how they do it. It must be nice for guys at... There's a great podcast. I can't remember. The one guy's from South America for sure. The other guy's from Canada. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the podcast. It's a great podcast. I'll shout it out when I remember the name. There's 2 guys. One's from Canada. One's from South America. Those guys have already made up their mind that they're in the computer. And they'll say... that they would think I'm stupid. They would go, you know what? Why are you using this little computer when this computer is the big computer and does everything, right? I mean, they've so much as said on one of their episodes that they don't understand guys trying to use these multi-track things. But I'm trying to come home from work, flip this thing on, and not have to boot my Mac and Reaper and all that. And again, the reason I had booted it is because I wanted my bus mastering processing, and I just don't have that stuff in the rack. I had to use the Apollo and Reaper to do that. I got some reverbs and stuff. I don't have a nice bus mastering, like the Warm. What is that? Warm's got one. I think it's called Bus Comp, I think. I have the limited amount of outboard hardware that I have. More than some people, not as much as not as some other people. But this is my bus mastering solution: is the tape sim and the U80 precision bass. But so yeah, here I sit. You wanted to be brave. You thought you'd go back in the box. I'm going out of the box. I'm leaving the box. I'm going old school. Well, you went old school. Now you don't like it. Now you're crying to be back in Reaper, I say to myself. And that's where we're at. So anyway, hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. It's been a good year here at Quest for Gear for meeting cool people. 99% of people are cool. 1% of people stop by to fart in the comment section because they like the smell of their own farts in the comment section, which I don't understand because no one ever sides with them. They just look like idiots. But anyway, I think in the new year I'm gonna ignore them guys. I can delete it. I didn't want that to be like a sign of me backing down from them because I wouldn't back down from them in real life. So why would I back down in the comment section? The problem is it's like a big time waster. And it's losers and idiots that make crappy comments. Now I'm not saying you can't come along and say, listen, you're wrong. And I'll be like, no, that's cool. And people have done that. They're like, you got this wrong. You said this wrong. You weren't right about this. And I'm like, no, cool. Thank you. Like there's been tons of people that corrected me and I'm like, holy frick, you're right. I got that wrong. Or in some cases, I just didn't see it right. But it's the guys that are like rude, that just come along and or the idiots that are just like, you should learn your mic technique. And the video had nothing to do with mic technique or, tuning your guitar. It's just like, guys, I'm just playing the guitar quick to show this piece of gear. I'm not playing you a song. I'm not performing at Carnegie Hall. You know what I mean? Like the guitar's in tune, roughly. I tuned it quick so that I could do a gear video. But anyway, the new year, I'm going to steer clear of that crap. It's a huge waste of time to argue with those morons. And they're the 1%. You go and you find out they don't have a channel or they're losers or it's like they're freaks. It's just like the cool people don't leave uncool comments. It's that simple. But anyway, it's been a good year. I can't believe all the cool people I've met. I'm hovering around 900 and some subscribers, and that's all I do this for. I'm trying to make money on YouTube. That's it. I mean, 100%. I am trying to make money doing this on YouTube. I mean, there's no hidden agenda, right? But I'll never sell out. I would never review a piece of gear and fake it. Just ain't gonna do it. You'll see a lot of review sites like that on YouTube where they're like, oh, it's one of these things and it's the best thing there ever was. And then they're like, and now we got one of these things and it's the best thing there ever was. Well, I'm never, ever, ever going to do that. So I will take gear for review from companies, but you're going to get what you're going to get. You're going to get my opinion on it. But so yeah, it's been a great year. I'm hovering around 900 and some subscribers. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. Don't if you don't feel like it. But I'm just going to keep marching along with this. So, hey, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks very much. Have a good rest of the 2024, and we'll see you all in 2025. Thank you.